Hey guys, my name's Andrew. I'm with Diving Sports here in BC, Canada, and today we just want to do a video about different types of spear guns, the different parts of spear guns, and really just talk about it from the basics. So we're just going to start from the very tip of it. That's going to be the muzzle of the gun. So we typically have three different types of muzzles. So here we've got the closed muzzle. So really what it is you've got this piece of plastic going up and around the shaft. So this is something that's more common with beginner entry-level guns. It's not a bad thing at all. But you don't tend to see that with kind of the mid-range, upper-range guns, really with the lower and beginner ones. Just makes it really easy for you to load your gun and not have to worry about the shaft going all over the place. And next we've got the open muzzle. So really simply open compared to closed. This one just doesn't have that piece of plastic there. And this is going to be the most common type of muzzle that you're going to find across spear guns. So next we've got the roller head. So this one's a little bit different. It is open as well, but the bands are going to run through the muzzle differently. They're actually going to be anchored here all the way at the back end of the gun. They're going to go down the barrel, up and around this roller head, and then over the top and down to the notches of the gun, or of the shaft. The thing with this is that it allows you to get more power out of a single band, and it really helps to mitigate that recoil. If you've got your roller gun dialed in really well, you've got almost no recoil, really great accuracy, and still a lot of power. A 100-centimeter roller gun is going to shoot like a 120 or even a 130 if you've got that dialed in correctly. All right, and from there we're going to talk about just the different types of bands. So I typically have two different types of bands with guns. You've got this one, which is just a really standard, rubber band, and you've got your Dyneema bridle in there, or wishbone. Super standard, most guns are going to have this kind, and oftentimes it'll come with a single or a double band. And so then we've got these horizontal bands, so these are threaded into the actual muzzle themselves. They threads in here as well as here. You can swap them out, swap out the wishbone however way you like. So the difference here is that this is a metal articulated wishbone, whereas the other ones are going to be Dyneema. So it just depends on what kind of shaft you're using and what kind of wishbone you want to use. And from there we've also got the roller band. So going back to the roller gun, these ones are slightly different. They're a little bit finicky to get dialed in correctly with different millimeters, thickness of bands, as well as inner diameters. But general thing is that they're not a closed loop like the other ones are. You've got this open end here, and that allows you to unload the bands when you're not actually shooting. When you're traveling and that kind of stuff, just because you don't want these bands under constant tension. That's going to really decrease the life of them. So now we're just going to move down the gun. We're going to talk about the barrel of the gun. So we've got a couple different types. The most common one you're going to find is going to be the pipe gun. So this one's aluminum, and yeah, super simple. It's just a metal pipe from end to end, and with the muzzle in the front and the handle in the back. Super simple, not too fancy. From there, we're actually going to go to a different shape. We're going to go to a cuttlefish barrel. So this one right here is the Beuchat Hero. Super sexy, super light gun. This is the lightest gun that we have in the store, and it's got this cuttlefish shape. So that allows you to really cut through the water and track fish really easily. It's really handy with longer guns. If you've got like 120 centimeter, it's going to be hard to track through that water, but adding in that cuttlefish shape is going to allow your gun to cut from side to side and make it really easy to snipe your fish. So in terms of the length of your gun, on the shorter end, we've got guns from 75 centimeters down. That's really going to be for your murky and dirty water, even cave hunting. Up from there, you've got your 90 centimeters to 100. It's going to be really good for reef shooting and just all around good day out in the water. And up from there, you've got your 100 to 120 centimeters. And that's really what you're going to want for like those blue water fish and really deep water. You've got really good visibility. All right, guys, so now I just want to talk about materials. We mainly have three different materials. We've got aluminum, we've got carbon, and we've got wood. So here I've got the Rob Allen Tuna Railgun. So this is an aluminum gun. Aluminum is really great. It's the most common material you're going to find in spear guns. Super durable. It's a little bit heavy depending on the gun, but you can bang this up, throw it on the rocks, and not really have to worry about it too much. From there, we're going to go up to the carbon barrel. So carbon tends to be a little bit more expensive. It's a lot lighter, and it absorbs a lot of recoil and noise. And from there, we're going to go to the wood gun. So wood, obviously super heavy, not as easy to kind of maneuver and track through the water, but what you lose in that, you're going to make up for in really its ability to absorb recoil. And when you're shooting really big fish and you've got a lot of power on those bands, you're going to want to be able to absorb that so you can still accurately shoot your fish. So from there, we're going to talk about the shafts of the spear gun. So you have different millimeters, different diameters. If you're shooting smaller fish, you're going to maybe want something around 6 millimeters. Something bigger, like mid-sized fish, you're going to want, around a 7. And those big blue water fish, you're going to want something a little bit bigger than that. So you've got the tip, super sharp. It's going to go into the fish, and you've got the flopper. So typically you're going to see a single flopper. And as your shaft enters the fish, that flopper is going to engage, and it's really going to prevent it from exiting and from you losing the fish. Sometimes you'll see double floppers on bigger blue water guns and shafts. That's really going to be when you want that extra hold. There's also going to be slip tips, and slip tips are actually going to be detachable from the main part of the shaft. So as you shoot into a fish, that slip tip's going to come out, and it's going to be engaged on the other side of the fish and held in there with Dyneema. So you're really not going to lose that, and that's a pretty common setup you'll see in a lot of blue water guns. And moving down, you're going to have different types of notches. So here I've got the shark fin tab, and this is going to be pretty common in the US. It's really going to be what you want to use for your Dyneema bands. It's going to allow you to load multiple bands on the same tab. And we also have the notched shaft. And so this is going to be more common with more European guns. And you don't want to use Dyneema wishbones on this type of shaft. You know, these sharp edges can kind of wear that down, and you don't want those wishbones to break when you're out spearfishing. So now we want to talk about tracks and rails. So most guns that you're going to find are going to have some type of rail going down the barrel. So it's just going to have this actual groove in the barrel that's going to help to guide the shaft out as you're shooting. It's going to help to improve your accuracy. And from there, we have the enclosed track. So here's the Pathos Sniper R. And so with this gun, you can see that the shaft is actually going into the barrel, and it's really going to help to guide that out with pinpoint accuracy. The only downside to this is that if you bend your shaft, you know, as you're diving or shooting big fish, you're not going to be able to use that with this gun, just because it goes into the barrel. Once it's bent, your day's over. So you really want to make sure you've got an extra with you in the boat or on shore if you're going to be using this style of gun. Now, with tracks and rails, there are going to be guns that don't have any of that. You know, with our lower end entry model guns, they don't have any track or rail. So, you know, it's really just going to be free floating. It's not going to provide you with extra accuracy. All right, guys. And from there, we want to talk about the handles and trigger mechs. So on the lower end of things, you're going to find ones that are all plastic. And that means all the pieces in there, it's all plastic. It's not going to be able to bear a lot of weight. It's also not going to last you as long. So this is something that we find more in the lower end tier gun. So we also have these stainless steel trigger mechs. They're really durable, really nice. They can hold a lot more power and tension under if you power up your gun with bigger bands or more bands. And this is going to be the most common type of trigger mech you're going to find in most guns these days. Is going to be just a solid all metal trigger mech. And it's going to really last you several years if you take care of it. From there, you're often going to find a reel mounted to a gun. They come in horizontal or vertical reels, horizontal being more common and more popular. But yeah, reels are really handy if you're diving deep. You shoot a fish and it holds up. You can let your reel out, swim up with your gun, and not have to let go of it and be able to really track that down. You know, it depends if you're diving through murky water. It can be hard to find exactly where your gun is, especially with current. Alternatively, if you don't want to have to deal with a reel, you can always attach a float line or bungee to a float. And that way, if you shoot a big fish, you can actually let go of your gun, let it take your float, and not have to worry about it too much. All right, now that we've got the basics out of the way, we're just gonna go through all of these guns and kind of talk about them individually and just really show the different features that they've all got. So here, I've got the Rob Allen Scorpia. This is a really good entry-level gun, comes standard with a single rubber. I've got the closed muzzle, as mentioned before, and it's got the plastic trigger mech. So this, you know, it's gonna be a little bit on the cheaper end. It's not gonna last you years and years, but it's gonna be really good to get into the sport. Going up from there, we've got the Beuchat Mundial. So again, this is gonna be a plastic trigger mech, closed muzzle. However, this one has the horizontal threaded bands and the articulated wishbone. This one and the Scorpia don't have rails. You know, definitely more of the beginner-friendly gun. And from there, we've got the Beuchat Hero. So this one has an open muzzle, single band, and stainless steel trigger mech with the shark fin tabs. So we're kind of upgrading the trigger mech in there. We've got a rail on that as well to give you extra accuracy. So here we've got the Rob Allen Tuna. It's a super popular gun, comes standard with 2 bands. It's got a rail just like the Beuchat Hero. It's aluminum, and yeah, just all around great gun. And from there, we've got the Pathos Laser Open Carbon. Really nice carbon barrel. It's a lot lighter than your standard aluminum gun. It's gonna help to absorb that recoil, and this one has a really nice ergonomic handle. It's got a rail as well and comes standard with 2 bands. And from there, we're gonna go to the Rob Allen Tuna Roller. So this is gonna be for somebody who really wants that extra power out of their gun with the roller and not have to deal with double bands. So the thing that I really like about this roller head is that it has ceramic bearings in here. So it's gonna be a lot of a smoother shot and more durable than something that's just gonna be plastic. And from there, we're gonna go to the Beuchat Hero Carbon. So this is a really nice carbon cuttlefish barrel. So we're kind of mixing that material with a different shape of the barrel. It's gonna really help you get that accuracy in cutting through the water and be able to track. And from there, we've got the Rob Allen GT Carbon Roller. So again, with that really nice ceramic bearing roller head, the difference between this one and the other one we looked at is that this one's gonna have a carbon barrel. So you're getting that roller head, you've got that power, that accuracy, that lack of recoil, but you're also gonna have the carbon as well to help absorb even more recoil and sound in the water. And the next gun that I wanna look at is gonna be the Pathos Sniper R. So this one's a really nice gun, guys. It's got that cuttlefish barrel to help you track through the water. And this is gonna be something that Pathos does that I've never seen in another brand, is you've got these loading steps here. So you can actually change the power of your roller bands. You know, if you're gonna shoot something really close, you can drop that power down. See a bigger fish, bring that power up. This gun also has an enclosed track. That's gonna really help you get that accurate shot. It also has this extra kicker band at the front. So if that roller band's not enough, you can add this extra one in there for you. I think the only thing that would make this gun perfect would be if it was a carbon barrel. It would really have all the bells and whistles on it. And from there, guys, we're gonna go to Riffe. Everybody knows Riffe, super nice wood gun. It's got a lot of stopping power to it. It's really hefty, it's really durable. Riffe guns and wood guns just in general are gonna be definitely on the upper end of things in terms of price, but really it's gonna be a 5-10 year gun if you take care of it. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more info when you're looking to pick up your first gun or even upgrade to something a little bit better. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We've got more videos coming your way, more informational, freediving, spearfishing videos, and stay tuned for more.